Hey you guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel to this review, this Dazzled or Disappointed of the new Tarte High Tides and Good Vibes eyeshadow palette. I am super excited to bring this review to you today. I have a look going on. Later in the week I will post a get ready with me using this little bad boy. So let's just go ahead and jump right into this because I know you're wanting to see swatches, you're wanting to know details, and you probably already have it in your Sephora cart. You're ready to check out, but you want to know if this is right for you. So let's just go ahead and jump into those details. So the box for this is so pretty. It looks like this. I didn't expect it to look this nice, honestly. So I knew I wanted to pick this up. Let me take a step back. I knew I wanted to pick this up, but it's a $39 palette. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, lately Tarte has kind of been hit or miss for me as far as their eyeshadow palettes. So I want to pick it up. I know it's limited edition. I'm very intrigued mainly by the packaging. I was suckered in, of course, by the packaging. So I kind of had already set my expectations kind of like, a little bit lower. So when I saw the box, I was like, wow, this looks really nice. It's very pretty. It has like a picture of, like a live picture of the ocean. It's got a little turtle, and then you've got the name of the palette right here on the back. It's just a little diagram of the eyeshadow palette. Nothing spectacular there. As far as the packaging, oh my gosh, you guys, look at this. So it's like an acrylic. It's very, very heavy, and it's like an acrylic cover because there is sort of a water or something in here to kind of mimic the ocean, and you've got, or the sea, and then you've got the little turtle right there. So it's really neat because as it moves, it ends up with these, you end up with these little water dots throughout, and it ends up looking like bubbles. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see that, but I'll bring you up close. Super pretty. I mean, just, this is something that I love because I love unique. My collection, you get regular square palette after square palette, so unique as far as packaging is awesome to me. So let me go ahead and first take you through the description. You probably already know this, especially, like I said, if you already have it in your Sephora cart. It says it's an eyeshadow palette stocked with 8 powder eyeshadows and 4 high-impact glitter gel toppers. Let's see, it's cruelty-free and vegan, gluten-free. I know that a ton of you are huge on cruelty-free, which I appreciate as well. I'm not as big into making sure which brands are and are not, although I know usually if they're cruelty-free, they'll have a little bunny. For reference, I used to be a beagle mom, and beagles are the dog breed that are most tested on because they are so submissive and they're so trusting, which breaks my heart. And so I definitely love to see that a brand is cruelty-free. Let's see. It says, switch up your look as often as the tide changes with 8 buttery, super blendable, matte, and luster shades in a powder formula. The 4 high-impact gel glitter topper shades can be used alone or overshadowed to add a deep sea sparkle to any look. These formulas are infused with antioxidant-rich marine plant extracts to help hydrate and soften the lids. So let's go ahead and just, like I mentioned, it's $39, and let's go ahead and go into the actual palette, shall we? Well, I put this to the side, the little insert, there's a plastic cover. It says here, I don't even know if you're gonna be able to see that. It says, see the change? Oh, there's a little turtle. I don't know if you can see that. I don't even know if it's worth showing. It's gonna go in the trash. So like I said, this thing is super hefty. It's very weighty. You could probably use this as a paperweight on a desk. It is very, very weighty. The overall color is like a turquoise, which obviously the theme is the sea, which is kind of nice. You open it up. This is as far back as the top or the cover goes. It is a full-length mirror there, and then you have your eyeshadows right here. So I'm hoping to not blind you because there's a lot of gold on here, but I do want to bring you in to be able to see the shades. So another thing I'm going to tell you, when this came in and I opened it up, I really was like, my jaw dropped. And if you follow me on Instagram, I had posted just that like my jaw had just dropped because I wasn't expecting the shades to be this vibrant, which is a pleasant surprise for me. A lot of times stock photos, they're kind of enhanced. They don't, once you get something, it doesn't look like it did in the pictures. So this was really exciting to me. When I saw the glitters and how sparkly they were, I'm like, okay, like maybe this is gonna be good. And so I thought, well, I don't want to get my hopes up. I need to first play with it, try it out, try a few looks, let's try all the shadows, that kind of thing. So I am going to take you into details and what I have on my eyes. I did the typical blue, sea type of look for today. For the get ready with me later this week, we will do something totally different. We won't do blues. But yes, I went totally standard, totally predictable. Let me grab swatches of these shadows so we can go through that, and then we'll go through details after that. Here are our first 4 shades. So we've got Buried Gold. Let's see. We've got, I don't even remember what order I did. Buried Gold, Galapagos, Aloha Beaches, and Beach Therapy. There we go. A little bit of operator error on this top one. That is my fault, but that is the transition shade that is available within this palette. So as you can already tell, very rich, very opaque, plenty of color payoff there. Here are 4 more. We've got South Beach, Surfs Up, Deep Blue, and Dive In. Wait for this, you guys. You ready for it? Look at this pigmentation. So for the glitters, I'm not going to swipe them on my hand because it is like a very, even though it's a gel based, it's a very dry glitter formula, and so it'll just end up looking super sparse if I swatch it on the back of my hand. So I'm just going to show you the swatches like this because in essence, as you grab it and put it on your eye, this is how it looks. So let's go ahead and start off with the silver, and we've got Turtlet, Aquaholic, that's cute, Champagne Beach, and Beach Days. And this is very, very similar, I think, to the Too Faced, like, Pretty Rich palette as far as the idea behind it, like the glitter shades. So it's a pan of eyeshadow product, even though it's not eyeshadow, but it's in like a glitter base formula, so like the glitter is kind of suspended in there. I know that's kind of weird, but very, very similar to that. So those are the 4 glitters. Let me bring you back one more time, and that's what those look like. Now it's time to dive into what I am wearing on my eyes today. So like I said, yes, very predictable as far as like my review look is a very ocean themed kind of look, but that's okay. We'll do something next go around. So to deepen up the crease, because I've been doing that as my first step, so that's what I'm going to tell you first. I did Aloha Beaches, which is this deeper brown right here. That is what I used pretty much as the rich, deeper tone in my crease. Right above that is like a peak of eyeshadow. I don't even know what I'm saying, a peak of like transition color. I used this pink one over here. It's called South Beach. So that's what I used over top to kind of like peek through that deeper shade. Then on the outer portion of my lid, I used the deeper blue called Dive In. The rest of my eye, I used the shade Deep Blue. I will tell you, and this is something I've said before, if ever you use 2 similar shades or like the kind of like along the same tone, then it will end up looking all like one shade, and that's what ended up happening to me, but that's okay. We'll go over that later. Let's see. In the inner portion of my lid and up a little bit, I have got this mint green right here called Surfs Up. And then on my lower lash line, I have this shade again, Aloha Beaches. And then as far as the glitter, I am wearing the silver and the green slash turquoise, I guess you could call it. So kind of blended those together. I'm going to zoom you in because I want to walk you through that one more time just so that you can see it a little bit closer. All right, so here we have got, let's see, Aloha Beaches is that rich shade in my crease, and then right above that peeking through is South Beach, which is that pink shade. Let's see, outer portion, that blue there is called Dive In. I did use Deep Blue, I think it's called Deep Blue, yeah, Deep Blue all over the rest of the lid, even though it ended up looking like all one shade. That Deep Blue shade is a very rich navy shade, so just letting you know that. On the lower lash line, I did use the shade Aloha Beaches. I also have a Marc Jacobs, I was gonna say, I don't know what I was gonna say, turquoise eyeliner. It's one of the glitter liners. I just don't know why I'm losing all my words right now. On my waterline. Right here on the inner portion up to here, like right along that edge, I'm wearing that the mint shade called Surfs Up. And then as far as the glitter, I kind of did a mix. I started off with the silver and then I infused a little bit of the green right here. So they blend really, really well together. Like it's kind of like one fades into the next. But that's what we've got going on for today's look. Like I said, very, very predictable, very like, okay, you're doing a, you know, sea or ocean eyeshadow palette review, so we do the whole sea look, but you can actually do some really nice predictable looks with this. All right guys, now that we've gone through the colors and the shades that are on my eyes, let's go ahead and start talking details about this palette. So first off, you may have already been able to figure this out at this point. There are two things that are not in this eyeshadow palette that may be deal breakers for you. One is a brow bone highlight. There is no brow bone highlight that is in a matte form. You can absolutely use this, speaking of which, it's the shade Buried Gold. It is what I used on my brow bone today, which I totally forgot to mention to you. I don't usually highlight my brow bone because I usually go in with a highlighting pencil by Benefit. I did use this one today, so you can absolutely use this, but a ton of people don't necessarily like to use a like very foiled or metallic or shiny eyeshadow on their brow bone. So as far as a matte brow bone highlight, there is not one in this palette. There is also not a matte, like a very deep matte shade to where you would be able to really deepen up your crease or your outer corner if you're looking for like a smoky look. This is as deep as it goes as far as a matte. So this is a deep shade, however, it is like one of those rich, not metallic, but it's a very satiny, shiny type of shade. So just know that. So that may be a deal breaker for you, either one of those. Second, third, there are 3 mattes in this palette. That may be a deal breaker for you. It isn't for me. I have no problem supplementing mattes from other palettes. I actually prefer to do that because I get more use out of my other palettes as well. So the fact that there's 3 matte shades in here, I don't mind. I actually would rather have more sparkly, metallic, and foiled shades than mattes because that is what I tend to gravitate towards. So that is that. As far as the glitters, I've already told you, these are very similar in consistency to the Too Faced Pretty Rich glitter shade. So if you already own that palette, then you know what that's like. I will tell you that they're very, it says they're like, it's a gel based, or, you know, it's kind of in a gel base. So I can see where that's true, because I will tell you, you are going to be shocked if you know me, is that I have not used glitter glue once when using these shades because of that gel type of consistency, or it's held together by gel. I don't even remember what they described it as, but honestly, when you grab some of this glitter, okay, so let me show you, because this is really insane. This is gonna kind of blow your mind. So let's go ahead and go with the silver. I'm gonna go in with the lightest touch. I barely even grazed it, and look how much glitter came off. If I just press simply a little bit harder, and that's not hard, just a little bit more firm than I was before, that's what I get. These things are ridiculously sparkly and they come off very, very easily. You will also notice that like it adheres to my skin very, very well, and that's actually how it stays on the eye. I have not had any issue whatsoever with these glitters as far as fallout. The first time I used it, I was like, I thought it was gonna kind of crumble because I had not used a glitter glue, and I don't typically do that. But for purposes of testing it out and playing around with it, I wanted to try it without glitter glue. Like I said, each and every time I have not used glitter glue, have not had a problem once. So going back to the first time I used this palette, I had two glitter specks down here. That was it. Throughout the day, it did not crumble, it didn't flake. Now, the only thing I will tell you is that I have, like, so my brow bones are very, like, they protrude. I don't know how else to put that. My eyes are just a little bit sunken, so my little brow bone sticks out quite a bit. So I typically have the issue of if I go too high on my lid with an eyeshadow shade, or if I go too high with glitter, the glitter ends up on my brow bone by the end of the day. These are no exception. That has happened. By the end of the day, if I go too high by applying my glitter throughout the day, it starts traveling up and I end up with glitter up there. That's not exclusive to this palette. That is something that happens to me each and every time. So I'm just putting it out there that, you know, it can travel depending on your eye shape, your brow bone, this and that. As far as falling, crumbling, fallout, none, which blows my mind because, again, I have not been using glitter glue. It's been a while since I've used my Pretty Rich palette by Too Faced, and I feel like I remember it being similar, but I do remember not being as impressed by that glitter formula as I am these. These are very, very sparkly. They're very chunky. If you like a very fine glitter, this is not that. This is very, very chunky. But again, I'm so impressed with how it stays put for being such a chunky glitter. And again, I guess it's because of that gel formula. So if you're looking for a glitter to put on your eye, you know, it's nice sparkly glitter, but you're not looking for the mess, you're not looking for the work, then these have got it for you. The next thing are these, I forget what they are called, but actually let me take a step back while I have one more thought on the glitter. You know how the description said you could use it over top of shadow or on its own? Originally I thought, I will bet you have to use this over top of shadow because if not, it's going to look kind of sparse, and you know, you need to have that layer underneath for the full pigment to like really, just for it to look like a full look. Okay, you can legit use these on their own. They are so opaque, you guys, that honestly the silver and the green that I put on, it completely, almost completely covered the blue. The only reason it didn't cover it completely is because I didn't go in with a super heavy hand. These things, if you wanted to do shadow on half your eye and glitter on the other half, then you don't have to cover your whole lid in eyeshadow. These are insanely opaque. Okay, now moving on to those other shades that are like the kind of, I don't think metallic's the right word, but maybe I'm getting it wrong, and I've got the palette in one hand, glitter on the other, and so I don't want to grab my phone. These particular shades, let me give you the blue. These particular shades, when you feel them, they are super creamy to the point where it almost feels like a cream and not a powder. They are very, very just thick and rich and creamy. I just don't know how else to describe it. So what I need to tell you about these is that they're probably some of the best eyeshadow formula I have used in my life. I just don't understand how these can be so pigmented. Every single time that I have used these, let me also grab the brown because the brown was the very first one I used when I first started playing with this palette. These things I have not applied with my finger. I have not applied with a wet brush. I have only applied them with a dry brush, and I'm going to tell you, every single time I have used these types of shades in this palette, I am so impressed because it looks like I legit went in with a wet brush to intensify the pigment, and nope, just with a very dry, just average, as if I would just be doing a quick, normal, everyday look. And I am just dumbfounded at how, I don't know. I mean, I know the description said that there's certain marine extracts that are in here to help hydrate the lid, and I think that's what it is. I don't remember ever using a formula like this before, and I truly don't remember being this impressed by such rich pigment for just using a dry brush. Usually you can take it up to your desired intensity by using your finger or using a wet brush. Using my finger is my preferred method, but the fact that I have only been using these with a dry brush, I have not used a wet brush, and I don't know if I would because they are kind of creamy. You may very well develop hard pan on these, so I don't know that I would consider testing that out, but you don't even need to. The pigmentation and the intensity for these is ridiculous. I can't get over it, and I'm just very confused as to how how they did this, and I'm like, why haven't they done this formula before? As far as the mattes, let's go into those. Again, there's only 3, so my matte loving ladies, I'm sorry. Yes, there are less than everything else, but these mattes perform really, really nicely. I have tried them every which way. I've tried going in with a blending brush and just blending, and they just, I have no issues. They build up. It's not like they get patchy. I've also tried like the whole stamping method, just grabbing a brush and just stamping it in to get super rich color, especially with that brown, because that's the deepest one of the 3, which is the Aloha Beaches shade. I go in, I stamp it in, and then I grab a blending brush and it blends out like a dream. So ridiculous. So obviously, I think I've gone through everything I wanted to cover. I can't even tell you, this is a Dazzled. I am just blown away by this palette, and quite frankly, I think this is going to be like my favorite palette for the month of March, and quite frankly, for the year 2019, I've had one palette that has just absolutely been tried and true that I have loved, that I would say this is my #1 for 2019, and it's the Lime Crime Venus XL 2. This like is a close, like this is right up there with that one. So as far as like favorite shadow palettes so far for 2019, yeah, this is right up there. I'm blown away because it's $39. So it's kind of like, how would they choose to put like one of their best formulas in one of their least expensive palettes? I don't know, you guys, but this is super amazing. What I also want to say is the formula to these shadows, I would say, is the most similar to their little round Rainforest of the Sea palettes. I think most recently the volume 4 with the pinks. You know how those have like a creamier consistency? That is very similar to these. However, these are on another level from those. Super creamy, super pigmented. So want to throw that in there as well in case you own those round ones and are wondering how it compares to those. So you guys, this thing is limited edition. If you're curious about it, if you were kind of on the fence, I wouldn't even say, like, don't think twice about it. It's $39. It's less than what you would pay for a whole lot of other palettes. I would say pick it up. If you're not crazy about it, Sephora has a really awesome return policy. You can also purchase it on Tarte's website. No words. Dazzled, dumbfounded, amazed. This thing is so good. I love it and have not stopped putting it down. Legit, I have been using this every day since it came in. So definitely a Dazzled. I love it so much and would highly, highly recommend it. Alright guys, before I let you go, let me give you the verse of the day just to help encourage you, motivate you, and speak just a little bit of positivity into your life. Today's comes from 2 Corinthians 12:10, and it says, "This is why, for Christ's sake, I delight in weaknesses, in insults, in hardships, in persecutions, in difficulties." So I just want to tell you, if you're going through some hard times right now, it's easy for me to say, you know, hold tight, just hold on to faith. Just trust in God. I know sometimes when one person is going through something and somebody is not, it's easy to say, but at the same time, at one point or another, we all have our difficulties. So, you know, I just want to encourage you, let you know that Jesus loves you no matter what you're going through. Just know that he loves you and is right there with you. If you need to just call out to him, you know, it really does make such a difference. And I am like an advocate for that because I have been in that place. So I just want to tell you that Jesus loves you. So do I, you guys. I hope you're having a wonderful day, a wonderful week, and I will see you very soon in the next video. I hope you'll consider subscribing if you are new to my channel because I really would love to have you as part of this YouTube family. I hope you'll give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful, enjoyable, useful, you know, all that good stuff. If you're looking for me on Instagram, you can find me at Michelle's Glamour. All right, guys, take care and I'll see you very soon. Bye.